So I think with this whole thing going on, it's kind of given us a sense of, I guess you could say, appreciation because I'm pretty sure the borders are closed. They're not letting in any non-Canadian residents, or if you don't have permanent residents or anything like that. You know, stores and bars and everything are basically closed besides like groceries and like essential retail as they're calling it, and like it's pretty scary, when you think about it. Like, nobody ever thought that, including myself. The earliest that I can remember is of me hearing about this was in January, and that was like when they said that it was some new flu-like, sickness or whatever you want to call it, and they said that it was only in China. So I was like, wasn't really on my mind. I wasn't really too concerned about it. They said the same thing about Ebola and, SARS and mad cow disease and swine flu and, all these other types of diseases that we've had over the years. And it's like, I didn't give it a second thought. I never really thought about it that seriously. I was like, oh, it's going to blow over just like everything else. And I still think that, people are overreacting just a little bit, but I think for me, I usually underreact to stuff anyway. But now with the government, encouraging people to stay home, don't go out unless you have to. People are working from home, businesses are shutting down, all those types of things. It's like, it's getting pretty serious now. And I think 2020, like as a whole, it's gonna be one of those years that everybody remembers, right? If you're old enough to remember, there was 9/11, there was like the whole like economy crash or the housing market crash of 2008, and then they're gonna be like, it's 2020. Do you remember the first half or however long this takes place? They're gonna say, do you remember 2020? And it's gonna be pretty crazy because it's like we've heard of all these other sicknesses, like I said before, Ebola, Zika, all these other things, but the most serious one that I can remember was SARS. And I think that was like 2006, 2007 or something like that. It was like mid 2000s. And that was the earliest one that I can remember, but I don't think I was probably like 10 at the time or something like that. But I don't remember them saying, you have to self-isolate and, do all those kinds of things. But this is the first one where they've told people to stay inside and, don't go outside unless you have to. I heard that in Italy, or it was some country, they're giving people tickets for going outside unless you're going outside for essential things. So like if you're not going to get groceries, if you're just outside to be outside, like for fun, to go for a walk, I heard that you're getting tickets and all these kinds of things. And like it's pretty crazy when you think about it that in 2020, like the whole world is basically on fire because of this sickness. And I watched this video from Bill Gates. I'm pretty sure it was a TED Talk, and he said that it's not going to be war and other things that kill a lot of people or that affect a lot of people. It's going to be like a sickness or a bacteria or a virus or something like that. And it's pretty crazy because he was right. It's like war only affects certain countries. It could affect the world and all that kind of stuff. We know World War II affected the whole world and even World War I. But it's like now, Bill Gates is here, or if it was like 4 or 5 years ago that he talked about it, and then now 2020 obviously is here. But it's crazy that places, whole countries are shut down, borders are shut down. Like I've never seen anything like this in my life. This is unprecedented. The news is going crazy over it. There's Justin Trudeau's talking every day, our prime minister, and it's like, I don't know, it's crazy. Donald Trump is talking every day for whatever he's worth, or whatever you think about him. But beside the point, it's pretty crazy that we're going through times like this, and this is never something that I could have ever expected. I feel like now we underestimated or we underappreciated 2019. Everyone's like, yo, I'm so ready for 2019 to be over, this, that, and the third, and whatever. And including myself, I was so ready for it to be over. And I was like, yo, let's bring on a new decade. It's gonna be sick. We're gonna go hard. Like we're gonna all grow in all these different ways. And then it's like, 2020 comes, Kobe Bryant passes away in January, and then some whatever other stuff happened, and then now we have Corona, and now we're in March. And then it's like, so I don't know, like this is, it's pretty crazy. It's crazy, like if you just look at the map on, let me pull it up here. It's pretty crazy, like this is the map of it. Like this is truly like a global, pandemic. You have Asia, Africa, North America, everywhere. There's not a place on this map, that doesn't have it, minus like Antarctica and like where like nobody is. But it's pretty crazy, and it's definitely something that I never expected. I had no idea it would come to this. People are hoarding toilet paper for whatever reason. That's one thing I can't really figure out, like the toilet paper thing. But food and stuff, like I kind of understand it, but at the same time, like one thing that was going to be one of my main points in this video was like, I understand that people are in times of panic and all these types of things, and like I get it. You're scared, and it's perfectly valid to be scared, but if you're a relatively young and healthy person, like myself, I like to think of myself as, healthy, but, young, that's, I don't know about that one. I'm 24, my back already hurts, but, it's like the virus it's taking the heaviest toll on elderly people and people with pre-existing conditions, asthma, pneumonia, those types of sicknesses. So, we definitely have to be considerate of them in times like these. I saw this picture, and it was this old man at the store, and this is on social media, so you have to take everything that you see on social media with a grain of salt. But I saw a picture of an old man at the store, and basically what happened was there was nothing for him to buy, and all those types of things. So it's like he kind of wasted his time going there, but at the same time he needed essential items, bread, milk, whatever. So these are definitely times that we have to look out for others as much as we're looking out for ourselves. I'm not saying don't look out for yourself, but ask yourself, do you need 3 loaves of bread or do you need 2 loaves of bread? Because that one extra loaf that you leave back could go to, for example, an elderly person that needs it, right? Because you don't know how long it took them to get there. You don't know if they're sick, if they're not sick. You don't know how many buses they had to take. You don't know what journey that they went through to get them to the store that you're at or that they're at. So, now's the time that we have to, be compassionate for others as much as we're looking out for ourselves. This is the time that, we have to show our humanity, if you want to call it that. Because like as much as people, I understand that people care about themselves and all that kind of stuff, but now is the time more than ever that we have to be looking out for our elderly population, because it is affecting them the most. One of my friends, I was texting him last night, and he told me that him and his mom, they just bought groceries for an old lady in her building, because a lot of elderly people, they don't, like, you don't know if their son or daughter, or if they even have kids, if they come to check up on their parent, or if they come to, like, it could be somebody's granny, and they don't, like, their grandkids don't come to visit them, their kids, like, themselves don't come to visit them, and they're basically stuck there, and maybe it takes them a long time to get to the store. So he decided to help them out. Him and his mom decided to help the lady out. So I told him, like, that was sick, right? Like, now's the time that we have to help people. Now's the time we have to look out for everybody. It's pretty sick, because like in times like these, like in times of fear and uncertainty and all these kinds of things, it's sick, because like there's been multiple videos of people singing from their balcony in Italy and Spain and wherever else like is going on, and it's like it's pretty crazy. Like, so it's like in times like this, it's pretty amazing to see people come together, and it shows that like people still have humanity left in them. It's not just greed and money and all these types of things. It's just at the end of the day, like when people are forced into a situation like this, you know, it shines through. It still shines through that people care, and because you know people didn't have to do that, right? People could have just stayed inside and watched TV and go on Netflix and you know watch YouTube, like how you're probably watching this video right now, and it's like, but no, people, you know, they went on their balcony because they wanted to go and you know talk to their neighbor or sing songs or entertain others or you know whatever the case may be. So it's like you love to see videos like that. You love to see videos of you know humanity coming together and you know doing or accomplishing great things. I actually saw this picture that pretty, you know, it actually relates a lot to you know this whole situation. It says this virus has proved that everything around us is so temporary. Things our lives revolved around, like work, gym, malls, movies, and society, have all gone for a toss as we are learning to live without them. It has taught us that in the end, it's your own home and relatives that keep you safe. So you see, it's like, it's crazy that all these things that, you know, we work so hard for, and, you know, like we put in all these extra hours at work, and, you know, we go to the gym, and like, I'm not saying going to the gym is bad, but, you know, it's like all these things are closed, and like society has to learn to live without them, and people are slowly learning to live without them. But like the thing that I'm thinking about a lot right now is like, as bad as this whole situation is, it's like it kind of opens your eyes in a way. So you know, it's like now you can, for say there was a father that, you know, he was working a lot and he barely even got to spend time with his kids. You know, now he can spend time at home. He can still probably work from home, but you know, he's home with his kids more, and you know, they can watch movies and play games and you know all these other types of things. Or say for example, there was, you know, a parent that they weren't home a lot. Now they could teach their kid, you know, life skills, or you know, you should do this in this time or this at that time. But you know, or you know, say for example right now, you know, now is the time that you should be like educating yourself. If you are quarantined at home, you know, you have to stay home, you can't really go outside, you know, read books, you know, like do like if there's something that you wanted to learn, say you wanted to learn about investing, say you wanted to learn about I don't know, anything, like say you wanted to learn coding, you know, say like you go on YouTube, you know, you type in basics of coding, and now you have the time on your hands. So you know, as much as it is bad, like at the same time it's a blessing, because it allows people to work on themselves in times of like, you know, when you can't really do anything. You know, it's pretty crazy that, you know, in times like this, it shows that people that were considered, you know, uneducated, grocery store employees, you know, cashiers, truck drivers, you know, all these people, it's like now everybody's like, oh, you know, we should have appreciated them before, because like nobody cared about grocery store employees before, but it's like now, you know, they're one of the most vital people behind like people that work at the hospital, you know, medical, you know, workers, healthcare workers, and you know, people like them. It's like behind them, it's like grocery store workers, you know, truck drivers, all these guys. It's like nobody's really caring about like athletes and actors and, you know, musicians. You know, all these guys have it. Like Kevin Durant he's a basketball player. Tom Hanks apparently he's an actor. You know, all these guys have it. And it's like now the most vital people, like without these people, we wouldn't, without truck drivers to drive, you know, your food or your toilet paper to the actual store that you go to, you wouldn't have that toilet paper, you wouldn't have all these kinds of things. So, you know, I think it goes to show that no matter how like uneducated, you know, you are, like formally uneducated, it's like you still play a role. And that's, you know, what I think some people fail to understand, but hopefully, you know, now they can. I hope so. Obviously there's always going to be a couple people that, I don't care about these people and this and that and whatever, but it is what it is, man. Like I don't want to get, you know, too into that topic. You know, that's another topic for another video. But, you know, like if you're bored, if you're looking for something to do, you know, call your friends, FaceTime, you know, write an email, you know, send a letter. The letter might get there, you know, after this whole Corona thing's done. But, you know, it's like, you know, in times like this, you have to make your own entertainment. if you want to call it that. There's only so much Netflix you can watch. You know, if there's a friend that you haven't called in a while, you know, call your friend. If there's a, you know, you haven't talked to your uncle in a while, you know, call your uncle, or, you know, whatever. It's like, now's the time that, you know, you have to catch up with people, because not that many people are going to work. You have more time on your hands, you know, because you're negating the fact that even if you are working from home, you don't have to commute. You don't have to do all these things. You don't have to run home and cook. You know, you can cook while you're doing work at home. So, you know, now's the time to, you know, call your friend and say, yo, you know, I haven't talked to you in a while. Like, you know, what are you doing? How's the family? How's life? How's this? Are you bored? Right? So it's like, I feel like, it's like I said before, as much as it is bad and as much as it did affect the world negatively, I think and I hope that the world could take something positive out of this, and, you know, learn how to live in a more, how do you say it? I guess you could say it's showing the world how to live with less, if you want to call it that, because, you know, everybody's not going out and it's not the whole hustle and bustle. It's, you know, now it's like, you know, everybody's basically staying at home for the most part, and they're having, basically what this is it's time that you knew, or sorry, it's time you didn't know you needed. That's basically what this time is, with this whole quarantine and, you know, self-isolation and, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, I mean, I hope, and, you know, like I said before, I hope that the world does take something positive out of this, and we come out of this, obviously, you know, hopefully on the other side. I hope it doesn't get any worse, and then, you know, we'll go from there. But I think 2020 is, you know, etched in history permanently, and then, you know, we'll see where we are 6 months, 8 months from now, because really and truly, we don't know how long it can last or how long it will last. But one thing that we can do is, you know, we should just listen to the self-isolation thing, or the quarantine thing, because I read this thing and it said the less people self-isolate, the longer we're gonna have to do it for. So if you are, you know, experiencing symptoms, just stay home, you know, self-isolate, drink orange juice, drink water, drink apple juice, drink whatever kind of juice, and, you know, hopefully you can kick this. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, I know this was probably a longer video. I don't know how long it'll be after I edit this and, you know, all that. But yeah, you know, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. It's very much appreciated. All relevant links are down below. I did add a link to my Amazon. It's like a list. It's not a wish list or anything like that. I don't want you to buy me anything. But it's a list of the books that I currently have. And at the bottom of the description, I listed the book that I'm currently reading. So, you know, you can find all those links down there. Everything's down there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So remember to wash your hands. If you are experiencing symptoms, stay home, self-isolate, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next one. Yo, it's pretty crazy. It's crazy. It's pretty crazy. You know, it's pretty crazy.